promised you a story on Christmas Day. And today is Friday, and that means heart to heart. And I'm going to share with you why this $7 box means the world to me and how it has changed my life, literally. Before I share with you the meaning of this box and what is inside, I'll share a little bit at the condition of my heart when I received this box. Now, many of you who followed my journey in the last year know pretty much my whole story, but some of you have no idea who Homestead Tessie is. And I'm just going to share with you a really brief description of my life. The day I was born, my mother went into a coma, and 48 hours later, she passed away. It was due to childbirth, and some of it was for hidden medical reasons that she was not aware of. And my daddy decided that, for whatever reason he was unable to keep me. I had two siblings, one that was 2 years older than me, and one that was a year older than me. He kept them too, but he gave me up for adoption. He so happened to know my adopted parents, and so he asked one day, out of the blue, if my adopted mother would take me in, and she said yes. Bless her soul, because to this day I'm very grateful and very honored that she adopted me. But sadly, there were times in my mother's life that were very difficult for her. She suffered from severe depression, among other mental illnesses. And at times, when life was really good, life was really happy for Homestead Tessie. But sometimes, in periods of my adopted mother's life, things were very difficult for me. And I grew up with mixed emotions and, at times, very traumatic and sad events in my life. Lots of times I look back on it and realize that in the difficult times of my mother's life, she took a lot of things out on me. And although it was unfair, that's the only way she could cope. I hold no ill feelings against my mother whatsoever. In fact, I am honored that she did adopt me, take me in, and it was quite a challenge. Some people would say that I was hard to handle, but really, in all due honesty, I was a very misunderstood child growing up. You see, my traits were nothing like my mother and my father's, my adopted family. My traits were totally different. And at the age of 40, I met my blood father for the very first time. And I enjoyed that, and I met my siblings, and it was a very fun experience. But I soon realized there that I really didn't quite fit in with them either, because I was raised in such a different environment. So my whole life was, I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I didn't belong here and I didn't belong there. By age 17, I got married and started my own family. All of these events have made me who I am today. And I don't take them back for anything because they've created me. There are times where I would love to share with you deeply about my childhood, and those days will come. You will be able to hear all of my story and my whole life. And in sharing my story, I've become a better person. And in sharing my story, I've really reached out to others. And I have been blessed by so many. And I don't have anxiety anymore since I've started sharing my life. And that's where you all come in. That's why you see me so many times with the comments, because I grasp anyone and anybody who wants to be my friend. I grasp them with open arms because I'm always looking for friendship. And that was my reason for starting YouTube, was to reach out and find some friends. In 2010, the most dearest people in my life, my in-laws, both passed away within 6 months of each other. My father-in-law died in 2010, and my mother-in-law died in 2011. That left a big hole in my heart, because every single day I spent was with them. We lived very close, and we could walk to each other's homes. And so my heart became very empty. And that is where you all has filled my heart. I share all of this only to share with you now what happened on Christmas Day. About 10 months ago, a woman started watching my YouTube channel. Now, I didn't realize who she was, and she only told me this story just recently. She watched my YouTube channel for quite a while. She watched my channel quite a while before the first email came. She was just lurking and watching and listening. And one day, I received an email from her. And that day, and pretty much every day since, I have received an email from her. We started corresponding, and we started sharing our lives. And we started realizing that we are very much alike. She shared with me her life and parts of her world and her canning and her pantry. And of course, I've shared mine. She is the woman who gave me the gift on Christmas and also gave me some gifts throughout my YouTube year. I will not share a whole lot about her identity because she's very much wanting to keep her life and her identity private. I will say I do not know this woman. She is not family. She is no one of my relation. She's just simply a woman who watched my YouTube and fell in love with my channel. And I have fallen in love with her. I can tell you that she has no daughters in her life. And she does have a son who was badly injured in the military. He served his boots on the ground, and he came back a different man. Those are the only things I will share with you about her. And I will share with you what was in this little box that meant so much to me. As you know, I've received gifts throughout my YouTube channel, and those gifts and the comments and the cards mean the world to me. You have filled my heart with family and friends and love and support. And inside this box, she told me, take a quiet place, Tessie, and spend some time and look at it. She said, it'll take you quite a long time. And I thought, what in the world could be in this little box that I could spend so much time with? Inside this little box, wrapped, was this little box. A cute little wooden box. And I thought, what in the world could be in this little wooden box? In this little wooden box was this little package tied up with twine. A little felt piece of brown felt. I opened it up. And in this little box, and this little twine, was this little card. Changed my life. So what's in this little card, you may ask? Lots. She shared with me videos of her animals, of her flowers, of her cooking, her hands. I searched and searched and searched. Surely there must be a picture of her. For you see, in the 10 months that I have emailed her almost daily, I've never seen a photo of her. I've never seen or heard what her voice sounds like. I often wondered, is she old and gray? Is she blonde hair? Does she have blue eyes? I always envisioned her as being an older woman with blonde white hair and blue eyes. I often wondered, but it didn't really matter to me because I was in such love with her. And I often wondered what she did look like. Finally, the very last video, it was her. Sitting kind of like I'm sitting with you today. She peered into the camera. Her brown eyes glistened. Her dark brown hair. And she went into the camera just like this. And the words came out of her mouth that meant the world to me. as I looked at this video, I went, I've heard people say about things that happen that take your breath away, or you feel that your breath is knocked out from under you, like, but I never knew what that felt like. I gasped for air because the image appearing back at me, my friends, she looked a lot like me. She had the brown eyes, the round face, the brown hair. In fact, she looked like she was my blood family. She looked like what my mother looked like. She looked like what my sister would look like. She looked like me. She talked like me. Her mannerisms were like me. Her heart was like me. I sat there and I felt her love. She inspired me to the point I have never been inspired before. For you see, my friends, her camera, for you see, my friends, when she looked at me, deep in the camera lens, I saw something that I can't explain. I saw something I have never, ever seen in my whole entire life. I've seen unconditional love. Her eyes just poured out a love that if you would see it, you would totally understand. She inspired me to want to share love like she shared with me. She inspired me to open my heart and to love even more. She talked a little bit about her life, and she was nervous, which you could understand. And I felt like I came home for the very first time. I said to her at times when I was a child, I cried out, wanting my mother. Even though I loved my adopted mother, it's still, I wondered what my mother was like. My mother died at 21. And of course, I've only have a few pictures of her. But I found home in my friend. I found family. I found support in all of you. I finally found what I've been searching for all of these years. It's complete. My life is complete. I'll soon be 48 years old. It's taken me 47, almost 48 years to say, I'm home. I have support. I have family. I have love that I have longed for my whole entire life. Because I know in many of you, and I know in her, that you will love me no matter what. It's unconditional. And you will be there for me no matter what. Not just on the good days of life, but every day. So my thoughts on all of this was the simplest gift, the most inexpensive gift in the world meant the most to me, because she was open enough to feel comfortable enough to show me what she looked like and show me herself. So my friends, one of the resolutions this year for me is to show love like she has showed me and you have shown me. That when you look into my eyes, you see something that you've never seen before either. That you see love, total, pure,